Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his ship and watched the stars disappear. One by one, the lights in space went dark as human colonies shut down their beacons. His job was simple but painful. Make sure every human left this part of the galaxy safely. Captain, the last transport just cleared the jump point, his officer reported. The young man's voice shook with worry. Nobody knew what would happen next. Jake nodded and looked at the screen showing their destination. Earth waited for them, along with all the other humans who had already made the journey home. 300 years ago, their ancestors had spread across the stars with hope and excitement. Now they were running back to where they started. The alien races had made it clear humans were not welcome anymore. The Zalathi Empire called humans too violent and dangerous. The crystal beings known as the Vorthax said humans brought chaos wherever they went. Even the smaller alien groups agreed that humans should leave. They think we're savages, Jake said quietly to himself. His communications officer, Lisa Parker, heard him and walked over. She was one of the smartest people he knew, always studying alien cultures and trying to understand why different species acted the way they did. Maybe that's for the best, Lisa said. We tried to fit in with their rules, but we're not like them. We think differently. We want different things. Jake remembered the wars that had started everything. Humans had fought to protect their colonies from raiders. They had used weapons and tactics that scared other species. The aliens said humans were too quick to fight and too good at winning. The Zalathi leader, Prime Minister Zaxthon, had sent a message to all human worlds. His words were polite but firm. The galaxy needs peace and order. Humans bring only conflict. It would be better if you returned to your home system and stayed there. At first, human leaders had tried to argue. They pointed out all the good things humans had done. Human doctors had cured diseases that killed millions of aliens. Human engineers had built space stations that brought different species together. Human explorers had found new worlds that everyone could use. But the aliens didn't care about any of that. They only remembered the battles and the human ships that moved faster than anyone expected. They feared what humans might do next if they stayed. Lisa finished sending the final message to alien space. Her fingers moved quickly over the controls as she typed words that would be remembered for centuries. We're going home to grow stronger. When we return, the galaxy will know what humanity truly means. Jake approved the message and watched it transmit across the galaxy. Soon every alien world would know that humans were leaving. He wondered if they would celebrate or worry about what the message meant. The jump to Earth took 3 days. When they arrived, Jake saw something that amazed him. Hundreds of human ships filled the space around their home planet. Scientists, soldiers, families, and workers, everyone had come back. Earth looked different, too. New cities floated in space around the planet. Strange energy readings came from the moon, where scientists had built research stations. Dr. Henry White met Jake when he landed. Henry had been studying alien technology for years, trying to understand how other species had become so advanced. His eyes were bright with excitement as he explained what humans were planning to do. We found something, Henry said as they walked through the busy spaceport. Deep scans of the galaxy show ruins from an ancient civilization. They disappeared millions of years ago, but their technology still works. We're going to study it and learn from it. Jake listened as Henry described the plan. Humans would spend the next few centuries becoming something new. They would not just study the ancient technology. They would make it part of themselves. They would grow stronger, smarter, and more capable than any species in the galaxy. The aliens think they know what humans are, Henry continued. They think we're just another species that got lucky with weapons and ships. They have no idea what we're capable of becoming. Over the following months, Jake watched as Earth transformed. Scientists worked day and night to understand the ancient ruins. Engineers built machines that could reshape matter at the smallest level. Doctors found ways to improve human bodies and minds. The most amazing discovery came from a world at the edge of human space. Amy Foster, a young explorer, had found a complete ancient city buried under miles of ice. The city was empty, but its machines still worked. When human scientists studied them, they learned that the ancient beings had found ways to control the basic forces of the universe. They could manipulate gravity, time, and space itself, Amy reported to the research teams, and they built machines that could teach these abilities to other species. Jake volunteered for the first experiments. The process was difficult and sometimes painful, but the results were incredible. He found that he could sense things happening far away. His mind could process information faster than any computer. His body became stronger and could heal from injuries that would have killed him before. As years passed, more humans joined the program. They learned to work together in ways that seemed impossible. A group of humans could combine their abilities to move mountains or change the weather on entire planets. They discovered that human minds were particularly good at using the ancient technology. The aliens had no idea what was happening in human space. They were too busy celebrating the peace they thought they had created. The Zalathi expanded their empire and made new rules for how species should behave. The Vorthak built crystal cities and focused on their art and philosophy. Smaller species followed the lead of the powerful ones and tried to stay out of trouble. But some aliens remembered humans and wondered what had happened to them. Pete Collins, a human who had stayed behind and joined the Zalathi government, sent secret reports back to Earth. He described how alien technology had barely improved in 3 centuries. They had become comfortable and lazy without humans to challenge them. Jake, now enhanced far beyond his original capabilities, read Pete's reports with interest. Humans had spent 300 years becoming something new. They had learned to use powers that the aliens couldn't imagine. Most importantly, they had learned to control those powers and use them wisely. "It's time," Jake told the other human leaders. "The galaxy is ready to meet the new humanity." The stars would soon learn that the humans who returned were nothing like the humans who had left. Alex Turner had been watching the deep space monitors for 15 years. His job at the Zalathi listening post was usually boring. Ships came and went in predictable patterns. Trade convoys followed the same routes they had used for decades. Nothing ever surprised him anymore. That changed on a Tuesday morning when his screen started showing impossible readings. The energy signature appeared at the edge of the galaxy, where no ships ever traveled. It was unlike anything in the alien databases. Alex ran the scan 3 times to make sure his equipment wasn't broken. Each time the readings came back the same. Something was out there that shouldn't exist. "Control, this is Monitor Station 7. Alex spoke into his communication device. "I'm detecting an unknown energy source in Sector 994. Requesting investigation team." The voice that answered sounded bored. "Turner, check your equipment." "Nothing operates in that sector." It's empty space, but Alex knew his machines worked perfectly. He had checked them that morning like he did every day. The readings were real. Something had appeared where nothing should be. Dr. Karen Bell received Alex's report at her laboratory on the crystal world of Vorthak Prime. As the leading scientist in the galaxy, Karen studied anything unusual that appeared in space. Her crystalline body hummed with curiosity as she looked at the data Alex had sent. The energy readings made no sense according to known physics. Whatever was generating the signal seemed to be bending space and time around itself. Karen had never seen anything like it in 200 years of research. "This is impossible," she whispered to her assistant. "No known technology can produce these effects." Karen sent investigation ships to the location immediately. The fastest vessels in the galaxy rushed to see what Alex had discovered. But when they arrived at the coordinates, they found nothing. Empty space stretched in all directions. The mysterious signal had vanished. 3 days later, Ryan Adams saw something that changed everything. The young officer was serving aboard the Zalathi flagship Eternal Harmony when alerts started screaming across the bridge. A ship had appeared directly in front of them without any warning. Ryan stared at the screen in shock. The vessel was unlike anything he had ever seen. It was sleek and dark, with smooth lines that seemed to flow like water. No lights showed on its surface, but energy readings indicated it contained more power than the entire Zalathi fleet. "Where did it come from?" the captain demanded. "How did it get past our sensors?" Nobody had answers. The ship had simply appeared as if it had always been there. Advanced alien scanners couldn't detect what it was made of or how it moved. It didn't follow any design principles that engineers recognized. For long minutes, both ships stared at each other across the empty space. The alien crew waited for the mysterious vessel to make some kind of contact. Finally, it did. A message transmitted across all frequencies in perfect galactic standard language. The voice was calm and confident, speaking words that sent terror through every alien who heard them. "Humanity has returned. Prepare for reunification." Ryan felt his blood turn cold. Humanity had been gone for 3 centuries. Most young aliens had never even seen a human. The older species remembered humans as violent and unpredictable, but they were supposed to be trapped in their home system. The mysterious ship vanished as suddenly as it had appeared. One moment it was there, The next moment, empty space filled the screen. No energy trail showed which direction it had gone. Advanced tracking systems found no trace of its passage. News of the encounter spread across the galaxy within hours. Every species that heard the story reacted with fear and confusion. Admiral Susan Clark of the Vorthak Collective immediately called an emergency meeting of all military leaders. "If humans have returned, we need to know what they want," Susan announced to the gathered officers. "Send scouts to every system, find these ships and learn what they're planning." But finding the human vessels proved impossible. They appeared without warning in different parts of the galaxy, transmitted their simple message, and then disappeared. Each encounter revealed new technologies that seemed to break the laws of physics. Captain Matt Thompson of the Helix Confederation saw one of the ships phase in and out of reality like a ghost. Engineer Rob Stevens watched from his space station as a human vessel bent light around itself and became invisible. Dr. Nicole Adams observed ships that moved faster than light without using any known form of propulsion. The most disturbing encounter happened when Commander Kate Nelson tried to scan one of the mysterious vessels. Her ship's weapons automatically targeted the human craft, following standard military procedure. But when she fired, the energy beams simply vanished. Not blocked or deflected. They disappeared completely as if they had never existed. Karen Bell worked frantically in her laboratory, trying to understand what the humans had become. The technology they displayed was centuries ahead of anything the galaxy possessed. Their ships could manipulate fundamental forces that required massive machines for other species to barely touch. "They're not using technology the way we understand it," Karen explained to the Galactic Council via emergency transmission. "It's as if they've become part of the machines themselves. The distinction between human and technology has disappeared." Fear spread through alien space like a disease. Parents told their children scary stories about the violent humans who had vanished long ago. Military bases went on high alert. Trade routes changed to avoid areas where human ships had been spotted. But the humans weren't attacking anyone. They appeared, delivered their message, and left. Some alien scientists began to wonder if the message was meant as a warning or an invitation. The word reunification could mean many different things. Pete Collins, the human who had stayed behind and joined the Zalathi government, found himself in an impossible position. Alien leaders demanded that he explain what his people were planning. But Pete had no more idea than anyone else what the returning humans wanted. "The humans who left 3 centuries ago were nothing like this," Pete told Prime Minister Zaxthon. "These beings have capabilities that I don't understand. I'm not even sure they're still fully human." As weeks passed, the sightings continued. Human ships appeared in every corner of the galaxy, always delivering the same message. They studied alien worlds and technologies with scanners that could see through solid matter. They observed military bases and government facilities without triggering any security systems. The galaxy's most powerful species began preparing for war. If humans wanted to reclaim their old territories, the aliens would fight to keep what they had built. Massive fleets assembled at strategic points throughout known space. Alex Turner continued his watch at the monitoring station, but now he wasn't bored anymore. Every day brought new readings of impossible technologies. The humans were everywhere and nowhere, watching and learning about everything that had changed since they left. "What do you want?" Alex whispered to his screens, hoping somehow the mysterious humans would answer. But the signals only grew stronger and more complex, suggesting that whatever the humans had planned was just beginning. The galaxy held its breath and waited for humanity to reveal its true intentions. Kate Nelson appeared in the middle of the Zalathi Council chamber without warning. One moment the room was empty except for alien delegates. The next moment a human woman stood calmly in the center of the floor. Every security system in the building had failed to detect her arrival. Prime Minister Zaxthon jumped from his chair in shock. Guards reached for their weapons but stopped when they realized their energy readings showed nothing dangerous. The human woman looked perfectly normal, but something about her presence made the air itself feel charged with invisible power. "Members of the Galactic Council," Kate said in a clear, confident voice. "I am Ambassador Kate Nelson, representing humanity. We need to talk." Pete Collins stared at the woman in amazement. He had known thousands of humans before they left the galaxy. But Kate was different. Her eyes held depth that seemed to contain starlight. When she moved, space around her seemed to bend slightly, as if reality itself was paying attention to her. "This is impossible," Zaxthon declared. No one can enter this chamber without permission. Our security systems are perfect, Kate smiled politely. Your security systems are designed to detect technology as you understand it. We have moved beyond such limitations. The alien delegates whispered nervously among themselves. Some wanted to call for more guards. Others suggested evacuating the chamber immediately. But Kate's calm presence made it clear that running would be pointless. 300 years ago, we left as refugees. Kate continued, her voice carrying clearly through the large room. You told us we were too dangerous, too violent, too different to share the galaxy with civilized species. You were right about one thing. We were different, but you were wrong about what that meant. Dr. Henry White materialized beside Kate with the same casual disregard for physical laws. His appearance sent new waves of panic through the alien delegates. If humans could appear anywhere they wanted, no place in the galaxy was safe. We return as something far greater than what we were, Henry announced. The galaxy forced us to leave, but that exile became the greatest gift we could have received. It gave us time to discover our true potential. Henry gestured toward the chamber's wall and a section became transparent, showing the space outside. Hundreds of human ships hung in orbit around the planet, each one glowing with energy that made the alien delegates' most advanced vessels look like primitive toys. How is this possible? Demanded General Krextor, the Zalathi military leader. Our sensors show nothing out there. Your sensors detect what we allow them to detect, Kate explained patiently. We learned to manipulate matter and energy at levels your science cannot imagine. What you call impossible, we call Tuesday morning. Pete Collins found his voice and stepped forward. Kate, I'm Pete Collins. I stayed behind when the others left. What happened to humanity? What did you become? Kate's expression softened when she looked at Pete. Hello, old friend. What happened to us is simple to explain but difficult to understand. We found the ruins of an ancient civilization that had transcended physical limitations. We studied their knowledge and made it part of ourselves. Henry moved his hand and a small device appeared in his palm. The device was beautiful, made of materials that seemed to shift between different states of matter. Lights moved through it in patterns that hurt to look at directly. This is a quantum manipulator, Henry explained to the stunned aliens. It allows us to interact with the fundamental forces that build reality. With devices like this integrated into our bodies, humans can reshape matter, manipulate energy, and travel through space in ways you consider impossible. The demonstration that followed left the alien delegates speechless. Henry casually altered the molecular structure of the chamber's floor, turning stone into metal and back again. Kate created a small star in her hand, containing nuclear fusion in a sphere no larger than a marble. The ancient civilization we studied had achieved perfect harmony between biology and technology, Kate continued. They could think at the speed of light, manipulate gravity with their minds, and travel between dimensions. They vanished from the galaxy millions of years ago, but their knowledge remained. What happened to them? Asked Dr. Sam Johnson, the Vorthak scientist who had been studying the strange energy readings. They evolved beyond the need for physical form, Henry replied. They became beings of pure energy and consciousness, exploring realities beyond our universe. They left their technology behind for species capable of using it wisely. General Krextor stood up angrily. This is all very impressive, but what do you want? Why have you returned? Are you here to conquer us? Kate's expression became serious. We returned because the galaxy needs what we learned. You have spent 3 centuries building a comfortable but stagnant civilization. You have peace but no growth. You have order but no progress. You have safety but no greatness. Our civilization works perfectly, Zaxthon protested. We have eliminated war, reduced suffering, and created stability across thousands of worlds. You have created a prison, Kate replied firmly. Every species in this galaxy is capable of so much more than what you allow them to become. Your rigid hierarchies and careful rules prevent growth and discovery. Paul Martinez appeared in the chamber, wearing the uniform of humanity's military forces. His presence radiated quiet confidence and controlled power. The alien delegates could sense that this human could destroy their entire fleet without effort, but chose not to. We offer partnership, not conquest, Paul announced. Humanity learned that true strength comes from helping others grow, not from defeating them. We want to share our knowledge and help every species reach their potential. And if we refuse, General Krextor demanded. Paul's smile was gentle, but his words carried absolute certainty. Then you will remain as you are while the universe moves beyond you. We will not force anyone to accept our help, but we will not allow anyone to prevent others from growing." The chamber fell silent as the alien delegates tried to process what they had heard. Humanity had returned with godlike powers but claimed they only wanted to help. It was too much to believe, but the demonstrations of power were impossible to deny. "We need time to consider your offer," Zaxthon said finally. "Of course," Kate replied. "We have waited 3 centuries to return. We can wait a little longer for you to decide, but do not wait too long. The galaxy is vast, and there are others out there who will not be as patient as we are." The 3 humans vanished as suddenly as they had appeared, leaving behind only the scent of ozone and the memory of impossible technologies. The alien delegates sat in stunned silence, trying to understand what humanity's return would mean for their carefully ordered galaxy. Outside the chamber windows, the human ships continued their patient orbit, waiting for an answer that would determine the future of every species in known space. Tim Brooks watched through his ship's view screen as the largest military force in galactic history assembled around him. Thousands of vessels from dozens of species had answered the call to contain humanity. The Zalathi Empire provided massive battleships with weapons capable of destroying planets. The Vorthak Collective brought their crystal ships that could slice through any known armor. Even the smallest alien species had sent their best warships to join the fleet. Admiral Brooks, the communication came from War Minister Krextor aboard the Zalathi flagship. "Are your ships ready for battle?" Tim looked around the bridge of his vessel, the human defense ship Liberty. His crew was nervous but determined. They were the only humans in the alien fleet, descendants of those who had stayed behind when humanity left the galaxy. Now they found themselves caught between their species and their adopted homes. "We're ready," Tim replied, though his heart was heavy. He didn't want to fight other humans, but the alien governments had made their decision. They would not accept humanity's offer of partnership. Instead, they chose to destroy the returning humans before they could disrupt the galactic order. Amy Foster stood on the bridge of humanity's flagship Ascendant and watched the alien armada surround them. Her enhanced senses could detect every ship, every weapon, every frightened alien heartbeat in the vast fleet. The humans had only 50 vessels compared to the aliens' thousands, but Amy was not worried. "They really think they can win," she said to her second-in-command, Rob Stevens. "After everything we showed them, they still believe their old weapons and tactics will work against us." Rob nodded sadly. His augmented mind was connected to every human ship in the fleet, coordinating their responses at the speed of thought. Fear makes people do foolish things. They're so afraid of losing control that they can't see the gift we're offering them. The alien fleet formed a perfect sphere around the human ships, with weapons pointed inward from every direction. War Minister Krextor transmitted the final ultimatum on all frequencies. "Humans, you will surrender immediately and accept exile to your home system. Any resistance will be met with total destruction. You have 10 minutes to comply." Amy opened a communication channel to respond. Her voice was calm and filled with sadness rather than anger. "We did not return to the galaxy to fight you. We came to help you grow beyond your limitations, but if you insist on violence, we will show you why that path leads only to failure." 10 minutes, Krextor repeated. "Choose wisely." Dr. Sam Johnson monitored the confrontation from his position aboard the lead Vorthak ship. As a scientist, he was fascinated by the technology the humans had displayed. As a being who valued peace, he hoped the situation could be resolved without bloodshed. But the alien military leaders had decided that humanity was too dangerous to exist. "All ships, prepare to fire," came the order across the alien fleet. "Target the human vessels. On my command, we destroy them all." The alien weapons charged with enough energy to vaporize small moons. Particle cannons, plasma torpedoes, gravity bombs, and quantum disruptors all focused on the human ships. Nothing in the known galaxy could survive such concentrated firepower. "Now," Krextor commanded. Every alien ship fired at once. The space around the human fleet lit up with destructive energy as thousands of weapons discharged simultaneously. The attack was so intense that nearby space itself seemed to burn with deadly radiation. But when the energy faded, the human ships remained untouched. Amy had initiated what humans called the demonstration. As the alien weapons fired, the human vessels simply stepped sideways through dimensions that the aliens couldn't perceive. The attacks passed through empty space where the humans had been moments before. The human ships reappeared in new positions, completely surrounding the alien fleet. But instead of returning fire, they began to demonstrate their true capabilities. Rob Stevens focused his enhanced mind on the alien weapons systems. Using quantum manipulation learned from the ancient ruins, he reached across space and altered the molecular structure of every alien weapon. Not destroyed or damaged, simply changed into something harmless. Admiral Tim Brooks watched in amazement as his ship's most powerful cannon transformed into a device that could only produce flower petals. Around him, every weapon in the alien fleet underwent similar changes. Particle beams became streams of colored light. Torpedoes turned into soap bubbles. The most feared military force in the galaxy suddenly found itself armed with toys. "What did you do to our weapons?" Krextor demanded over the communication channels. "We removed their ability to cause harm," Amy replied. "Your ships are perfectly safe, but they can no longer hurt anyone. We could have destroyed your entire fleet, but we choose to show mercy instead." Dr. Sam Johnson ran frantic scans on his vessel's modified weapons. The changes were permanent and irreversible. The quantum alterations had reached into the very atoms that made up the cannons, rewriting their fundamental properties. Human technology had casually accomplished something that should have been impossible. "This is just the beginning," Rob announced to the alien fleet. "Watch and understand what true power means." The human ships began to manipulate local space-time around the alien vessels. Gravity wells formed and collapsed in controlled patterns. Some alien ships found themselves trapped in bubbles where time moved differently, making their movements impossibly slow. Others discovered that their navigation systems reported positions that didn't match what their crews could see. Captain Matt Thompson, aboard one of the smaller human vessels, reached out with his enhanced abilities and gently grasped an entire alien battleship. Using nothing but focused thought, he slowly rotated the massive vessel end over end, demonstrating that human minds could now manipulate objects larger than cities. The alien crews panicked as they realized their ships were completely helpless. Every system they trusted had been rendered useless by technologies they couldn't understand. The humans could do anything they wanted to the alien fleet, and there was no way to stop them. But humanity's greatest display of power came in what they chose not to do. "You came here to destroy us," Amy broadcast to every ship in the alien fleet. "You brought enough firepower to sterilize planets. You were prepared to commit genocide to maintain your version of peace, and we stopped you without harming a single life." She paused to let her words sink in before continuing. "This is what we learned during our exile. True strength isn't the ability to destroy your enemies. It's the wisdom to turn enemies into friends. Real power isn't taking what you want by force. It's helping others want to give it freely." The human ships gradually released their control over the alien vessels. Weapons remained harmless, but navigation and life support systems returned to normal function. The alien fleet found itself free to leave whenever they chose. "We're returning to Earth," Amy announced. "When your governments are ready to discuss partnership instead of war, they know where to find us. But understand this: we will not tolerate any more attempts to solve problems through violence. The galaxy has grown beyond such primitive solutions." One by one, the human ships vanished from the battlefield, leaving behind a thoroughly humbled alien armada. The most powerful military force ever assembled had been defeated without a single shot being fired in return. Admiral Tim Brooks sat in his chair, staring at the flower petals that drifted from his former cannon. Around him, his crew struggled to process what they had witnessed. Humanity had demonstrated power beyond imagination, but used it with restraint that bordered on the divine. The alien fleet slowly dispersed, carrying news of their defeat back to every world in the galaxy. The age of solving problems through superior firepower had ended. A new era was beginning, whether the aliens were ready for it or not. Carl Johnson stood on the observation deck of the space station orbiting Earth and watched as alien ships approached his home system for the first time in 3 centuries. 6 months had passed since the failed attempt to destroy humanity's fleet, and the galaxy was finally ready to talk instead of fight. As the first human president since the return, Carl had spent weeks preparing for this moment. The alien delegates would see Earth as it had become during humanity's long exile, a world transformed beyond recognition by the marriage of ancient knowledge and human creativity. Dr. Nicole Adams met the alien ships at the edge of the solar system, serving as humanity's new ambassador to the galaxy. Her enhanced abilities allowed her to communicate directly with alien minds, translating not just words but concepts and emotions that had no equivalent in spoken language. "Welcome to Earth," Nicole transmitted to the approaching vessels. "We are honored that you have chosen dialogue over conflict." Prime Minister Zaxthon of the Zalathi Empire led the alien delegation. The proud leader who had once ordered humanity's exile now came as a supplicant, hoping to understand what his people had awakened. Beside him traveled Dr. Karen, Bell of the Vorthak Collective and representatives. From dozens of other species, what they saw when they entered the solar system challenged everything they thought they knew about the limits of civilization. Earth floated in space like a jewel, surrounded by cities that defied physics. Massive structures hung in orbit without any visible means of support, connected by bridges of pure energy that sparkled with rainbow light. The moon had been transformed into a garden world where forests grew in perfect geometric patterns, their leaves changing color in waves that could be seen from space. "How is any of this possible?" Karen whispered as her crystalline form hummed with amazement. Her instruments detected gravitational anomalies, controlled fusion reactions, and matter in states that shouldn't exist according to known science. "We learned to work with the universe instead of fighting against it," Nicole explained as she guided the alien ships toward a docking station that resembled a flower made of liquid metal. "The ancient civilization taught us that reality is far more flexible than most species believe." Matt Thompson, now serving as Earth's orbital traffic controller, used his enhanced abilities to gently guide each alien vessel to a safe berth. His mind reached out across space to steady ships that were struggling with the unusual gravitational fields around human structures. As the aliens disembarked, they found themselves walking through corridors that changed shape to accommodate different species' needs. The walls displayed living murals that told the story of humanity's transformation, showing how desperate refugees had become masters of forces that shaped galaxies. Lucy Grant, wearing the uniform of the new Galactic Cooperation Force, escorted the alien delegates through Earth's capital city. The metropolis floated 20 miles above the planet's surface, its buildings growing and shifting like living things as the population's needs changed. "Your cities are alive," Zaxthon observed with wonder and fear. "How do you control them?" "We don't control them," Lucy replied with a smile. "We partner with them." Human consciousness merged with artificial intelligence to create something new. Urban environments that think and adapt. The cities want to make their inhabitants happy, so they constantly improve themselves. The aliens saw humans who had become something beyond their original species. Children played games that involved manipulating gravity and light. Artists created sculptures from controlled plasma that painted the sky with impossible colors. Scientists worked on projects that would have required the resources of entire planets for other species to attempt. But the most impressive sight was the diversity of the human population. Some had chosen to enhance their bodies with technology that made them living machines. Others had modified their minds to think in ways that allowed direct communication with quantum fields. A few had gone even further, becoming beings of pure energy, who could travel between stars. "Without ships, we each chose our own path of development," explained Dr. Henry. White as he showed the aliens through a research facility where humans and ancient machines worked together. "The old civilization left us tools for many different types of growth. Some humans became explorers of other dimensions. Others focused on manipulating matter and energy. Still others chose to enhance their natural empathy and wisdom. The alien delegates met humans who could predict the future by reading quantum probability waves. They spoke with beings who existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. They observed children who had been born with abilities that allowed them to understand any language or technology, simply by looking at it. "This is why we needed you to leave," Carl Johnson explained to the gathered aliens as they sat in Earth's council chamber. "Not because we hated you, but because we needed time to become worthy of what we found." The ancient knowledge was too dangerous to use without wisdom. We had to grow into beings capable of handling such power responsibly. Zaxthon struggled to maintain his composure as he asked the question that haunted every alien leader. What do you want from us now? You have power beyond our imagination. You could rule the galaxy without opposition. We want to help you become what you're capable of becoming, Carl replied. Every species in the galaxy has unique talents and perspectives. The ancient ruins contain knowledge that can enhance those gifts, but only if you're willing to abandon the limitations you've placed on yourselves. Nicole projected images into the minds of the alien delegates, showing them visions of what their species could become. Salathi, who could manipulate time itself. Vorthak, who could sing matter into new forms. Smaller species who could network their minds to solve problems that had puzzled civilizations for millennia. The choice is yours, Nicole continued. We offer partnership in growth and exploration. Together we can become something greater than any single species could achieve alone. But you must be willing to change, to take risks, and to trust in possibilities you've never imagined. Some species immediately accepted humanity's offer. The Peaceful Helix Confederation volunteered their entire population for the enhancement programs. Several smaller groups that had always felt limited by the galactic hierarchy eagerly embraced the chance to grow beyond their current capabilities. Others, particularly the proud Zalathi and traditional Vorthak, struggled with the decision. Accepting human help meant admitting that their ancient civilizations were primitive compared to what they could become. It meant abandoning the comfortable certainty of their current existence for unknown possibilities. We need guarantees, Zaxthon demanded. How do we know you won't use this power to dominate us once we become dependent on your knowledge? Because we already have that power and chose not to use it, Lucy replied. We could have conquered the galaxy when we returned. Instead, we offered partnership. We could have destroyed your fleet when you attacked us. Instead, we showed mercy. Our actions prove our intentions better than any words could. The negotiations continued for weeks as alien governments debated humanity's offer. During that time, humans demonstrated their commitment to cooperation by sharing smaller gifts freely. Medical knowledge that could cure diseases thought incurable. Agricultural techniques that could feed starving populations. Technologies that could clean polluted worlds and repair damaged ecosystems. Finally, the Galactic Council reached its decision. A majority of species voted to accept humanity's partnership, creating the Ascendancy Compact, a new organization dedicated to helping all intelligent life reach its potential. We'll start small, Carl announced as he signed the agreement that would reshape galactic civilization. Volunteer populations from each species will work with human mentors to explore what's possible. As trust builds and knowledge spreads, more individuals can choose their own paths of development. Matt Thompson was selected to lead the first joint expedition beyond the galactic rim, where humans and aliens would work together to explore regions of space that no single species had dared to investigate. His ship carried representatives from 24 species, all eager to discover what lay beyond the borders of known space. As the expedition prepared to depart, Amy Foster reflected on how far humanity had come. 3 centuries ago, they had been exiled as dangerous primitives. Now they served as guides for an entire galaxy's evolution. The real journey is just beginning, she told the mixed crew as their enhanced ship prepared to jump beyond the edge of known space. We've learned to transcend our limitations, but there are still mysteries out there that will challenge everything we think we know. The ship vanished into unknown space, carrying the hopes and dreams of countless species toward discoveries that would reshape their understanding of what life could become. Behind them, the galaxy began its transformation from a rigid hierarchy into something magnificent. A community of growing minds exploring infinite possibilities together. In the centuries that followed, the choice made by those brave delegates would be remembered as the moment when galactic civilization chose growth over stagnation, cooperation over competition, and limitless potential over comfortable limitations. Humanity had returned not as conquerors but as gardeners, ready to help the galaxy bloom into something wonderful.